The Last One at the Wedding, Family Secrets and Killer Suspense. The New Hampshire air, crisp and carrying the scent of pine, did little to calm the tremors in Frank Satowski's hands as he navigated the winding driveway. It had been 3 years. 3 years since Maggie, his Maggie, had walked out of his life, severing the ties that held them together with a sharp, unforgiving snap. He'd resigned himself to the bleak reality that their estrangement was permanent, a wound that would never fully heal. Then the phone rang. Maggie, her voice a hesitant melody he'd thought he'd forgotten, had invited him to her wedding. To say Frank was ecstatic was an understatement. He'd practically sprinted to the nearest travel agency, determined to bridge the chasm that had grown between them, determined to finally make things right. As the gargantuan Gardner estate materialized before him, a knot tightened in Frank's stomach. This wasn't the simple backyard affair he'd imagined. This was opulent. A sprawling mansion perched atop a hill, manicured lawns stretching as far as the eye could see, and a hushed atmosphere that spoke volumes about the wealth contained within. Frank, a retired blue-collar worker, felt a distinct pang of inadequacy. He was woefully, devastatingly out of his league. The invitation, a crisp cream-coloured card tucked away in his wallet, felt like a cruel joke. Maggie, his daughter, was marrying into this. It was then that it hit him. She hadn't mentioned the groom's last name during their brief phone call. Aidan Gardner. The Aidan Gardner, son of tech mogul extraordinaire, Richard Gardner. He swallowed hard, pushing aside the creeping unease that threatened to overwhelm him. This wasn't about him. This was about Maggie. He had to focus on reconnecting with her, on showing her he was proud, on somehow fitting into this bizarre, gilded world she now inhabited. The first glimpse of Maggie, radiant in a flowing ivory dress, momentarily banished his anxieties. But even through the veneer of happiness, Frank detected a fragility in her eyes, a hint of reservation in her smile. His initial attempts to engage with her were met with distracted replies, hurried hugs, and the constant, almost apologetic murmur of, "I'll talk to you later, Dad. Things are just crazy right now." Aidan, the groom, proved to be an equally elusive figure. He was handsome, certainly, with a reserved charm that bordered on unsettling. Frank found him withdrawn, his eyes constantly darting around the room as if searching for an escape route. Conversations with Aidan felt stilted, laced with a polite but impenetrable wall. He offered vague answers to Frank's questions about his work, his family, and his future with Maggie. The more Frank tried to understand him, the more slippery he seemed. Adding to the growing sense of unease was the unsettling atmosphere of the nearby town. Each time Frank ventured out, whether to grab a cup of coffee or simply stretch his legs, he was met with a palpable hostility from the locals. Their glares were sharp, their whispers barely audible, but the message was clear. The Gardners were unwelcome here. "Rich city folk," one grizzled old man muttered under his breath as Frank walked past. "Think they can just buy their way in?" Frank knew he was walking on eggshells. He desperately wanted to understand Maggie's new life, to uncover the truth behind Aidan's evasiveness and the town's animosity. But he also knew that pushing too hard, asking too many questions, could shatter the fragile bridge he was trying to rebuild with his daughter. He was caught in a terrifying dilemma: unravel the mysteries surrounding the Gardners or risk losing Maggie forever. The weight of that decision settled heavily on his shoulders, making him the loneliest man at the wedding. a father desperate to protect his daughter from a darkness he couldn't yet comprehend. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more book summaries and insights. Feel free to check out another video or dive into the full playlist you see now for more great book summaries. Click now and keep exploring.